And we are live. Just getting my instructions from my camera operator downstairs in the trailer. That's Laura Lawson pushing the buttons for us here tonight. Welcome to Thursday night Inside Sim Racing TV. We're here at Dover International Speedway here tonight. Miles the Monster standing by and working the booth here tonight with Harrison Wideless. Joe, he's gallivanting somewhere around Canada from what I heard, Harrison.
Yeah, Joe, up north of the border right now. But I tell you what, tonight we're at a track that's pretty unique. Dover is a monster. These cars take quite a bit of finesse to work their way around this track, and we've got a great points battle heating up in this series. 1 point lead of Stefan Marinak has over Bobby Terrell.
Yeah, we've been following three drivers, and that's going to be Stefan Marinak, Bobby Terrell, and C.J. Lever. We've been talking about these three. We've had them on the radio show, Rewind BS and Back Talk there on Tuesday nights. And these three, it's going to go all the way to Homestead, I think. Lever sitting 41 points behind Stefan Marinak, but hey, the game ain't over yet, Cowboy. We got 7 more to go after Dover here tonight. A little bit about this track. This is a 1 mile track located in Dover, Delaware. Capacity of 135,000 fans on hand tonight. And of course, it's owned by Dover Motorsports Incorporated. Broke ground about 1966, first race around 1969. Melvin Joseph was the architect here. It's a concrete track. It's a 1 miler and 4 turns, obviously. Turns are banked at 24 degrees. The straightaway is banked at about 9 degrees. So there's really not a flat spot on this track, Harrison.
No, and with that banking, it's basically a self-cleaning racetrack. When there's a problem, it'll tend to come down the track. So to avoid a wreck low can be troublesome. Just with so much banking, and the walls are right on the inside of the straightaway, where when accidents happen, the track usually can get blocked, and then you have nowhere to go. So this is a track where track position can be of a huge benefit.
You bet. And, if you were listening to the Rewind BS and Backtalk radio show on Tuesday night, we had Bobby Terrell. I gotta start saying that right. We corrected his name. It's actually Terrell. Bobby was on the show talking about his outlook and, the here at the Asphalt Assault Series with Real Sim Racing. And he said that, there's the remaining tracks, there isn't really one that's real difficult. The only one that he really had any question about, of course, is going to be Talladega. He calls it a crapshoot. But one thing about Bobby Terrell, last time out here now, this is last May. This is the second time here at Dover. He finished 23rd, 30 laps down. So, he's got to be able to stay out of trouble here at Dover. This is a tricky track, to be sure. Turn 2 is usually the culprit here. When you want to get on the throttle a little bit too soon, it'll send the car around, and we've been seeing that through practice here tonight.
Yeah, these cars in general feel pretty tight in the center, where the way to get around this track is to roll off of the throttle, maybe a little bit of brake, especially the longer you go on a long run. But this is a track where you could heat up the right rear and get the car loose in general. But I think more than likely a lot of these guys will be getting loose on exit because they have so much wheel. So this is a track where giving the right amount of throttle and the right amount of brake is really paramount.
You bet. And Jose Gonzalez won this race back in May. Marinak finished second here last May after starting in 8th position. And Clint Monahan, who was, I don't believe he's with the series any longer, he finished 3rd. Adam Roberts with a top 5 finish in 4th. And rounding out the top 5 was Steve Almindo. I don't believe he is. I don't believe he's racing this series this season either. But I tell you what, let's take him down through the points and let him know who's who and who's where here with the Inside Sim Racing TV full Asphalt Assault Series here on Thursday night. Stefan Marinak, of course, we already mentioned that. He's out in front of Bobby Terrell by 1 point, Cowboys. So I tell you what, Terrell, he's got to beat. He's got to come out. He's got to beat Marinak tonight. There's no ways, no two ways about it. He's going to have to win here tonight. Lever, he sits in 3rd at 41 back, like we said. Rhett McBride having an awesome season, Harrison. He sits in 4th position. He's 224 back. No chance for a trophy at the end of the season, but I tell you what, he is holding his own. Matt Lacrosse, Matt Lacrosse is a driver that Bobby was talking about. Tough to beat here Tough to race here with this series, but Matt Lacrosse, he sits in 5th at 229. Take us to the bottom there, Harrison.
Well, we've got Brian Harvey in 6th, and he seems to be very consistent this year. He seems to hang around 6th place a lot. More than half the races, he's got top 10s, just not quite as many top 5s as he would like. He's got 3 on the season so far. Then we've got John Abbott in 7th, Douglas Wide in 8th, Doug Roth in 9th, and Dave Lanza, who has 2 wins on the year, but he has missed 3 races, currently sits 10th in points, and he's just going for wins.
You bet. And right now qualifying is underway with Bobby Terrell at the top of the charts here with a 23.599 so far. And Stefan Marinak, who is out in front of Bobby by 1 point, looks like he may be on the second row here tonight at Dover. So Jose Gonzalez, who won this race in May, the first race here, looks like he's going to be in the third row, 5th position here at Dover Speedway. So I tell you, this is a tough track. You really got to, you got to pay attention to what's going on here. You can haul ass down the straightaways, but when you get inside the turns, it's a big, wide, sweeping turn here at Dover. And, of course, the banking is a little bit of help. But, Harrison, the fear is these guys are going to want to romp back on the throttle a little bit too soon. That's going to take the car around. Turn 2 has been the culprit here pretty much all during practice tonight.
Yeah, just the way the track geometry is. You come up out of turn 2, and it's like you enter these corners. It's almost like a roller coaster drop. The car just jumps down and it collapses on the suspension, and I guess they say lands is really the term to look for there. And you're kind of jumping out of these corners. So right when you get to the exit, it flattens off. It doesn't completely flatten off, as you said. I think 9 degrees on the straightaways. So there are some seriously banked straightaways, but the car will definitely act up on exit, and getting too early, getting on the throttle too early usually results in loose on exit or tight on exit. So either way.
You bet. And, the other troublesome spot here is going to be pit road entrance. That's always been a trick here at Dover. Coming down the backstretch, you really got to woe that pony up and get down to the bottom. That transition from the track to the apron down there, you're going from concrete to asphalt, so that usually throws a lot of guys for a loop as well. So we'll be looking for trouble spots at the commit, right there around the commit line, going into the pits here at Dover as well.
Yeah, they backed up where the pit road entry is a couple of years ago. They lengthened that wall, and it is extremely easy to speed on pit road here. Extremely hard to get the thing slowed down.
You bet. Well, I'll tell you what, we're getting set for 160 laps here at Dover Speedway. This is the Asphalt Assault Series here, being sponsored by Inside Sim Racing TV, Darren Ganji and the boys. I'll tell you what, if you haven't seen what they do over there, you got to check them out at isrtv.com. And why don't we go ahead and send it on down trackside. I believe the Cactus Cuties are standing by with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave
And again, that's the Cactus Cuties with probably the most beautiful rendition of the national anthem that I've ever heard. And of course, a big thank you to the Virtual Thunderbirds for the flyby. And those are real pilots in those virtual aircraft that we saw here tonight at Dover. Let's take them down through the lineup here. I'll tell you what, I'll take the top 10, you do the next 10. Bobby Terrell, he's starting out on the pole here tonight in that number 7. Outside him in the 28, that belongs to Chad Coleman. Qualifying in third on the second row here, Rhett McBride. He'll be in that number 15 machine on the inside. Outside him, your points leader, that's going to be Stefan Marinak in the 24 car. In fifth, Jose Gonzalez, who won this race in May. He'll be starting in the 26 machine on the inside. Starting in sixth tonight, the number 10, John Abbott. The 4 car in 7th position, that belongs to C.J. LeVere, also battling Bobby Terrell and Stefan Marinak here tonight. J. Randall Watkins on the outside in 8th position in the number 77 machine. Stephen Mattox, he'll be starting in 9th position in the number 91. Outside him, Harrison, the 43, that belongs to Doug Roth.
Yeah, looking at the next 10, we've got Doug Roth, or excuse me, you just mentioned Doug Roth. Brian Harvey starting in 11th. Next, alongside him will be Nathan Bowers in the 03. In row number 7, we've got Britt Van Meter in the 27. And alongside of him, Glenn Campbell in the number 44. In 15th position on the grid, Hollis Vanderloon in the 38. And alongside him is Marvin Turnmeyer Jr., who had a real hard-fought battle last week. In 17th, rolling off 17th, will be Barry Hines in the 57, and alongside him will be the 666 of Augusto Gabaldoni. In 19th, we have Keith Brooks Jr. sporting the Jegs colors, and alongside him, Frank Coons.
And those not electing to take time here tonight starts out with Jimmy North, the number 84 machine, my co-host on Tuesday nights. Josh Chaney, he'll be on the outside in the number 5 machine. Starting in 23rd, the number 12, that's Douglas Wyatt, better known as Hippie Doug. Ed Williams Jr., he'll be starting 24th in the number 65. And John Wilco in the number 62 in 25th. Starting 26th tonight, that number 98, that belongs to Stephen Herring. John Ellers, he'll be starting in 27th in the 09. Rounding out the field, top shotgun on the field here, and he has not gotten his car started yet, number 60, Daniel Bragg. So we'll see what's going on with the 6 machine here a little bit later on. Taro's got his work cut out for him here tonight. However, he does feel that this is an easy track for him. Chad Coleman, on the other hand, he'll be starting on the outside row. I've seen this cowboy race before, too, as we get the green flag and we're off and running.
Yeah, let me tell you, Bobby Terrell threw down a great lap in qualifying. It was a 23.59, starting, pole on the field, jumps out to an early lead. I tell you, that 23.59 is an incredible lap around this track. He certainly knows what he is doing. The outside pole sitter was Chad Coleman in the number 28. This is actually his first start ever in the Asphalt Assault Series. He's run RSR in the Outlaw Truck Series and as well as the Midnight Thunder Series, I believe. But this is his first stint in the Asphalt Assault Series. Right now, running in third, Rhett McBride in the number 15, able to jump into second place. And Rhett is running really aggressively right now, trying to chase down the leader.
They all kind of got into a single file line right off the get-go here, but all the way back here at 11th position, the 66 car, Brian Harvey, he about the last lap around, had a little incident with the wall, had to really get off the throttle. That brought Britt Van Meter around for the position. So Brian Harvey is going to fall backwards here to 12th position. So, like we were talking about earlier, you just got to be careful around here. Those walls can come up lickety-split, especially off turn 2 for some reason. Now, this track is the same on both ends, so it's just a little bit curious sometimes. I think you get a little bit antsy and get back in the throttle a little bit too soon. But right now, pretty much single file, Harrison, all the way back. Doug Roth up there in 10th position, the 43 machine. I'll have to go back and look, but whether he had a moment or not, but he cut way down on the track, but still holding his own here in 10th position.
Yeah, Doug Roth is one of those drivers looking to finish top 10 in points. Right now, he's got a solid lead on the 11th place car. I believe Doug Roth currently sitting 9th in points. You'll notice a lot of these guys tend to get single file around this track. I think there might be some passing going on in the back. I know Josh Chaney in the number 5 car likes to start in the back and then move his way forward. In fact, he's working his way through traffic right now. Started 22nd up to 19th is that number 5 of Josh Chaney as he's looking to pass some folks. As he's tucked in behind the 84 of Jimmy North, who also elected to start in the back. But this is a track where it's such a rhythm racetrack, and you can race side by side here. We'll see some good side by side battles as we get deeper into this race. But it's a track where you really want to be patient because you have to fight the track more than the traffic most of the time. And so these guys kind of spread out a little bit, get into that rhythm. And this is a track that really plays into long green flag runs. So we see a lot of smart driving throughout the field at this point. But of course, getting out of turn 2 especially is really treacherous. That wall just comes up so quickly the way you want to get into the gas here that it'll certainly be a trouble spot to look at all night long.
Yeah, you know, that incident I was talking about with Doug Roth, that was the wall, and it kind of knocked him for a loop there a little bit. That brought him down on the inside. Was able to hang on and keep the car under control. But I tell you what, we'll probably see a lot of bent up sheet metal on the right side of these cars before the night is over. I just saw the 48 about 2 laps ago do the same thing. So, but in the meantime, Bobby Terrell out in front with Rhett McBride chasing him down, and 9 laps in the books here. Remember, this is a 160 lap race here tonight. So, yeah, you know, we got a long ways to go here at Dover Speedway. Jay Randall Watkins, the 77 machine, he's back here in 9th position, holding his own. Watkins looking for a good night here tonight at Dover. In front of him is Steven Mattox. I believe Mattox is a newcomer to Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series as well.
Yeah, Randall Watkins has had a nice start here. He had a nice qualifying run, and I believe he had a rough night last week. I may be wrong. I might be remembering another race, but I think Randall Watkins had a rough night last week, so he definitely wants to get that good run in. And actually, looking back up front, we're having a bit of a train. The top 6 all together. That's Bobby Terrell in number 7 in the lead. As we ride on board with the number 28 of Chad Coleman. Now, Chad making his first start. He wants to be kind of patient here, but as we ride along with him, he sees the opportunity to try to get underneath the number 15 of Rhett McBride, but it just wasn't there, and he has to get back in line. But Chad making his first start. Chad is actually a DWC competitor, but I believe that he's more interested. I believe he's actually backed out of the DWC since the last race, and has decided to just have a little more fun with sim racing. Sometimes you get to the top level of sim racing, it seems more like a job, and that's the route that Chad has taken here. As we see, he's certainly talented enough to run up front. This is his first stint running third, but let me say, Rhett McBride right now in front of him in the number 15. We see him be a competitor almost every track we go to, but I think Dover might be one of his favorite tracks. He just seems to have a lot of speed at Dover. I was able to watch a little bit of the Outlaw Truck Series here at RSR last night, and Rhett McBride had a lot of speed. And we see Rhett right now working on the number 7 of Bobby Terrell. Terrell using a wide line through the center of the corner, kind of opens the door, but shuts the door on exit. Rhett was not there, but the 15 car looking good early on.
I tell you what, Bobby Terrell can get the job done just about any track. His nemesis are usually the plate track. Then, like he said on the radio show the other night, pretty much a crapshoot. Let's take it back to the 4 car back here, 7th position, CJ Lever. He's let's call it 2.2 seconds in the back of the leaders up here. CJ's typical MO is just kind of lay back here a little bit, get the laps, and wait till the last half of the race to start making his moves. But I'm a little bit concerned here, him being this far back. Now, he's been laying down lap times similar to that of the leaders up here. So I got a funny feeling CJ just might be wearing down the laps here, just running them out, run that clock out here a little bit before he makes a move. Remember, CJ is in the runnings here for a championship here at Asphalt Assault Series. And, of course, on the line is a Fanatic wheel stand and I can't remember off the top of my head what the other one is. You got to pardon me. I usually engineer these darn things. I don't usually call the action from the booth.
Yeah, CJ qualified 7th and currently shown in 7th and running good lap times. The good thing about this track is that draft is not much of a factor. There's a little bit, especially on newer tires, that you can feel. But for the most part, the longer we go on these long runs, the more the tires fall off, the more you can do to really help you gain seconds on the track. The top 6 really close right now. Bobby in the 7 might be in tire saving mode because he doesn't want to use up his stuff. His closest competitor is the 24 of Stefan Marinac, and he's been keeping up with his lead pack. He's been running 4th for the bulk of it, but what Bobby is really just trying to push as hard as he can without giving up a spot. Now, Rhett McBride, I think, is running the car a little more aggressively, just not able to get the lead. But should Bobby get stuck above McBride and McBride goes for that move, Bobby will be might find himself getting trayed. It's very easy here to, as you're getting past, to get stuck high and then a bunch of cars just swoop on by below you. And something to look after here is that when that happens, you can burn your right front up and it just makes you really, really tight. So these guys just pushing as hard as they have to, pretty much.
Back here about 10th, 11th, and 12th, right around Glenn Campbell, Doug Roth, Randall Watkins. Watkins just let Roth and Campbell go past. Of course, Campbell was the first one by, but Randall came on the radio, let these two guys by. So J. Randall Watkins probably, maybe a handling issue or something, but he's losing a lot of positions here from everybody. Hollis Vanderloon comes by him, and of course a little bit too much throttle up off the turn. He takes a piece of the wall with him. So J. Randall Watkins in the 77 machine back here in 13th position, kind of going backwards here a little bit. But, out in front of him, Glenn Campbell was probably the biggest mover. He was just on a tear there to get past Watkins and Doug Roth. Glenn Campbell in the 44 car back here in 10th position, looking for a good finish here at Dover as well. Beyond that, they're getting pretty well spread out here. Let's take a check and see where the 84 car is. That's going to be my co-host on Tuesday nights, and that's Jimmy North back here in 15th position. Get a shout out to the 84 car and his team down there holding his own. So fans, there may not be some souvenirs from the 84 car again this week, but only time will tell when we get to the end of this thing.
I tell you, Jimmy North is doing a good job because he was one of the cars, as you mentioned, elected not to take time. He started 21st, and I believe he just passed Britt Van Meter for the 14th position. So we've had no cautions, and Jimmy North has gained 7 spots on the racetrack so far, up to 14th. I thought Josh Cheney would be one to look out for coming from the back, and Josh Cheney has passed 4 of his competitors, but Cheney running 18th while Jimmy North all the way up to 14th right now. Probably the biggest mover on the track. As we see a car come to pit road, that's the 78 of Keith Brooks Jr., who I mistakenly referred to as running Jeg's colors. I think I was referring to his Cup car, his nationwide car here in the Asphalt Assault Series is sponsored by Crow Tech Tinting out of Boiling Springs, I believe, and so I apologize. I got the number. Excuse me. I got the sponsor wrong there, but so I just wanted to take cover of that. But he finds himself on pit road right now. That 78 car, getting 4 tires. Possibly got into the wall a lap ago. He was just had fallen off the pace a little bit, electing to short pit here, which certainly he doesn't want to catch a caution unless he's able to get the lucky dog at this point. But you pit here at Dover. That's 23-24 second lap times. It's easy to lose a lap.
He looks like he might have had a little kind of a moment here back around lap 22 or so. I think, well, you know what, the more I look at this, he may have just missed the pit entry here and is rather slow here on the backstretch as he comes back around to lap 23 to try to make it back in the pits. But, something definitely going on with the 78 car here for sure here tonight. But the 78 machine actually coming down pit road again here. So something really going wrong with the 78 machine here tonight at Dover. We'll keep an eye on that activity. Lap down cars include Frank Coons, who's gone down, along with Stephen Herring has gone down 1 lap here. Augusto Gabaldoni is showing 11 laps down, so we're going to have to do a little bit of homework here so we can't go back and figure out what happened to the 666 here at Dover.
Looking at Keith Brooks Jr., A few laps ago, he actually got into the wall off of one of the turns, so I think he was really not happy with the handling of his car and decided to pit. And we just found out that possibly sped down pit road, had to simply come back in. He would have had to have sped on exit in order for him to come back in. As I look back at the replay of him leaving his stall, probably got a speeding penalty, had to come back in and serve that. So tough break for Keith Brooks. He got into the wall and then a speeding penalty, I believe, and right now finding himself multiple laps down.
And looks like the 666 just got a late start here at Dover, so he had to start out of the pits. That's why Augusto Gabaldoni is 11 laps down here tonight. So, but I'll tell you what, in the meantime, back up in front, it's all about Bobby Terrell and the 7 machine. Rhett McBride still chasing him down up here as they work through lap traffic. And I'll tell you, the 15 machine is staying right on the tail of that number 7 with Chad Coleman in tow in third. Stefan Marinak, your points leader, over Bobby Terrell by 1 point. Terrell has to win this thing out in front of Marinak tonight to be able to overtake the lead here for sure. But I'll tell you what, Marinak, he's a contender here. He finished second here in the first race this season back in May. So I tell you what, I think Terrell might have his work cut out for him here tonight.
Yeah, Marinak is one of those drivers that you can never count out. We've seen races where he's been outright the fastest car on the track, and he's won races by dominating. He's also won races where he hasn't been the fastest guy, he hasn't been the car to beat, but he simply executes. As Brad Keselowski winning the Sprint Cup championship last year often talked about, when you're not the best car, there's ways to win. You just have to execute perfectly, and that's what happened to Stefan Marinak last week, grabbing the win at New Hampshire, when Bobby Terrell simply dominated the race. And Stefan doesn't look like he's quite as fast as Terrell, but he's hanging better than he did last week, as the top 6 start to spread out a little bit compared to how they were for quite a while. These cars are about as slow as they're going to be. These tires are about as worn as they're going to be feeling to these drivers. And as we've noticed, Rhett McBride has retained a lot of speed in his car. Bobby Terrell simply hasn't lost him. And Chad Coleman also looks good as well. All these drivers running about a second and 3/10 slower than they qualified. So usually the long runs can sort of change the shape of the race the way these guys are running. But the top 3 have a little bit of a gap on Stefan Marinak, and then the 4th place car of Marinak has quite a gap right now, building on John Abbott and Jose Gonzalez, and then it's a ways back to the 7th place car. Actually, the 7th place car now is the number 44 of Glenn Campbell. You mentioned before he qualified 14th, was able to get by Brian Harvey among others, as he got around CJ LeVere as well most recently. So Glenn Campbell moving forward, running pretty solid lap times.
And he's right behind Jose Gonzalez in the 26 machine. As we go on board with side by side here with the 7 machine, we'll get a bird's eye view out the windshield of what Bobby Terrell's looking at. Let's talk about Jose Gonzalez here for just a minute. He won this race in May after leading 30 laps. And a caution is out on the track, I'm hearing. Try to cycle around and find out who this is. Looks like the 5 car might be involved. That's going to be Josh Cheney back here on the backstretch, it looks like, guys.
Yeah, you called it. It was turn 2, the culprit. He got out of turn 2, was very tight, and caught the wall. And when he caught the wall, all this banking, it sort of just bounces him left, and it sent him straight into the inside wall. So a single car wreck, just got tight out of turn 2, hits the wall, comes down, and catches the other end.
Yeah, it's just that thing we were talking about. You come up off of turn 2, and, I guess the habit is you get back on the throttle. Cheney, just a little bit too much power coming off, and that turn 2 wall comes around, it bites you, and it sends you right down across the track into the inside wall. And, I don't know, but here at Dover, they have the safer barrier on the inside wall. I believe they do. But they certainly, if they don't, they certainly need to put it there, because that's usually where you're going to wind up, if you get a wall strike here at Dover Speedway. But caution number 1 in the books here at Dover, 37 laps in the books, and that'll bring most everybody down pit road.
Yeah, and it should be 4 tires for everybody. I do believe. We might see some strategy late in the going, but it might make these guys kind of loose the way the tires wear here. But 40 laps into this race, we are about a quarter of the way through, and I would be shocked to see anyone try 2 tires right now. It looks like all the leaders taking 4 tires. Now it comes down to how fast these crews do, who's going to get off pit road first, and the answer to that is Bobby Terrell. But Stefan Marinak in the number 24, the big winner off of pit road, able to clear Chad Coleman. Actually, I think Chad Coleman did a little bit of a strategy play there. He hit the brakes coming to the exit of pit road because he wanted to be third in line out of these leaders. He had a chance of beating the 24 off of pit road and hit the brakes so that he can start on the inside behind Terrell. So a little strategy there, a little smart driving by Chad Coleman. But Marinak able to gain 2 spots actually off of pit road, and the other cars, and for no one stayed out, so they will be the leaders.
A little bit of strategy being played out down there on pit road. Well, how about our sponsor for tonight's race? I tell you what, sponsoring the Thursday night Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series, Inside Sim Racing, your first and best choice for all the news and reviews in online motorsports. You can join Darren Ganji and Sean Cole for the latest and greatest in product reviews, simulation, auto sports racing, games for the PCs and the Xbox crowd. I'll tell you what, Cowboy, from the steering wheels to the full-size racing rigs, updates on popular racing games, and a whole lot more, it is the yellow pages of online auto racing. Inside Sim Racing TV has it all. And you can check them out at www. Why do we always have to do that www thing? ISRTV.com. World Wide Web, I guess it is.
Yeah, and I tell you, Inside Sim Racing, there's not another show like it. Very entertaining to watch. If you have any interest in any kind of sim racing, odds are they have it covered. They cover everything from any kind of NASCAR stuff all the way to any road course series that you could imagine. Sean Cole and Darren Ganji do a good job with that, and also put on a lot of special events, have a lot of cool races. In fact, we broadcasted one that they sponsored or put together a couple of weeks ago where they had a 2-hour race at Watkins Glen, mixed class race, which was fun to watch. So Darren Ganji and Sean Cole certainly doing a lot for sim racing.
Yeah, they do. And, I know Darren very well. He and I yak together every once in a while. But Darren Ganji, Sean Cole over there at ISR TV, they got a pretty unique thing going. So you get an opportunity, why, be sure to get over there and check them out. In the meantime, here at Dover, Bobby Terrell is still holding down the lead up here. I was going to say, before we went to the break here, with that caution, the curious thing, Jose Gonzalez, who was running 6th before that caution, he led 30 laps here back in May. However, it was CJ LeVere that led 110 laps, the most laps for the race, and finishing 9th. So I guess you can't count on the statistics for May to get you anywhere here tonight.
Yeah, a lot of times these guys come back to the same track the second time of the year, and people figure out different things, or people get better at certain tracks, or maybe they have to work harder the next time to be up to the pace that they want to be at. So past results help understand who's really good at some tracks, but a lot of times someone will catch us by surprise as the pace car is about to duck in for the first restart of this race.
Bobby Terrell, Stefan Marinak on the front row with Chad Coleman, Rhett McBride in the second row. Third row is Jose Gonzalez and John Abbott in 6th position here as we get set to go. The pace car has pulled off, and they're kind of coming around a little bit slow. So Terrell kind of backing them up here a little bit. Don't know if that's strategy playing out here at Dover. Terrell off to a good lead up here in front, still 2 by 2, 24 up on the top side here, and he may fall victim to the 28 of Chad Coleman, still side by side going into turns 3. They'll come off turn 4, and it looks like the 28 car of Coleman is going to have it. So Stefan Marinak slips back a notch, and Rhett McBride still chasing him down in 5th.
Yeah, we see exactly why Chad Coleman backed off exiting pit road to give the 24 that spot. He was able to get 2nd position, and this is the highest Chad has run all race, I believe. We had the car get really loose out of turn number 2. The number 09, I believe, of John Ellers, sideways, and actually had some rear end damage from earlier in the race, was able to save it, and we remain green. But Coleman up to 2nd, and Stefan Marinak hasn't quite had the speed of Bobby Terrell. So Chad Coleman right now looking to capitalize on that situation, try to chase down the leader at this point.
And Gonzalez, who started that restart in 5th position, already moves up a slot, 4th place for the 26th machine. So Jose Gonzalez, I think he's looking for a repeat here tonight at Dover. Moving back through the field here, let's go back to Stephen Mattox back here in the 8th position, 91. He's being pressured by Brian Harvey in 9th position here. That's that 66 down on the bottom and 91 on the top, side by side, coming off a turn 4 down the front stretch. And be careful on the throttle there. And I'll tell you what, almost taking a chunk out of the wall there. But Brian Harvey gets the position over Mattox. And Mattox actually losing another one, 84 machine. Jimmy North alongside now as they race it down the backstretch here. So a little bit of racing going on here tonight.
Yeah, and as we see Jimmy North coming into view, he started, actually, as he gets a little bit tight on exit, backs out of the gas. At contact is made, but he's able to save it. Close call there. As we're pointing out, Jimmy North has gone all the way up to 10th from a 21st starting spot, but wow, nice save there.
Wow, I'll tell you what, I was right on that one on my monitor here, and I'll tell you what, if that's not, apparently getting a word from the trailer downstairs that we were in car on that one, so I'll tell you what, Jimmy North probably shaking out the pant legs here inside that 84 car, but being able to hang on to it. Good job, Jimmy North. But Doug Roth in the 43 was right behind him when all that took place. It's 11th position back here. But, as quick as they get started too wide, they break off into single file. So not a whole lot of action happening here on the track. Go back to 15th position, the Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. 16 car. Letting a lot go by. The 65 up on the top. Turnmeyer Jr. just let, I believe it was a 57 of Barry Hines go by him. But now the 65 of Ed Williams looking to make a move on the top side up here.
Yeah, nice battle for 15th position right now. Saw Turnmeyer really drove a real hard. Some contact out of turn number 4. Ed Williams able to save it. No harm done, but that was close.
That's we'll call that the Jimmy North move off of turn 2 there, but tell you what, the 65 hanging on to it there in pretty good shape. So moving back through the field here, Glenn Campbell, who was having a pretty good run up near the front, falls victim to the 48 into the wall across the track and into the 44. That's going to bring the caution out again here for the second time at Dover. I just caught that one out of the corner of my eye. I was going to mention the fact that Campbell may have had some incidents or some kind of an issue on pit road, but all the way back here in 19th position. But something happened to the 44 machine, or the 48 car. I'm going to try to get, that's Frank Coons up there in the 48. Going to try to take a look here and see what happened.
Yeah. Looking at Frank Coons in the 48, as we have the replay going, in the middle of 3 and 4, he just simply drifted up, overdrove the corner a little bit, got into the outside wall, came down the track, and kind of, Glenn Campbell almost had it missed, but the 48 kind of swung back onto the track as he was trying to save the car, and Campbell, who was caught speeding on pit road, last pit stop, got himself bad track position. That's what happens.
Yeah, that's, you called it exactly right. Unfortunately, the 44 being involved in that, not a whole lot of damage on the 44, but, this is a short track. Aerodynamics doesn't play a huge part here like some of the other tracks, but, of course, the 44 car's got a pretty good limp going on, too, as he works his way, into his pit box here. But we'll see if the 44 Glenn Campbell can get it all squared away.
Yeah, when you go to tracks where cosmetic damage doesn't hurt you too bad, I think Glenn Campbell has decided that his car is a little too damaged to contend for a top 10, and I believe he's taking it behind the wall. But looking at pit road action, Jose Gonzalez staying out, actually, and Bobby Terrell getting beat off of pit road by Chad Coleman, who I believe took 2 tires. That was a pretty short run. 2 tires is a good move to make right here. See how it handles. As we saw, Coleman on the long run, just as fast as Terrell for the most part, if not a little bit faster, and playing it conservative. But that was a pretty short run right there. I think we had about, looking at the lap counter, that run was approximately, actually a little longer than I thought. It was a 10-lap run. 2 tires is a good gamble to make. We did have a couple of cars stay out, and that is the 57 of Barry Hines, the 10 of John Abbott, who's been top 5 for most of the event, and the 26 of Jose Gonzalez, who was actually stuck behind John Abbott for a while earlier in the race, got up to about 4th, and stays out here. So with 3 cars staying out, that buys Jose Gonzalez some time to try to jump away from the field, as the first car who pitted will be restarting on the outside of row number 2, Chad Coleman in 4th, and Bobby Terrell will be in 5th, alongside actually the guy who's battling in points, Stefan Marinak, starting 6th on the start.
All right, we're going to go side by side on the restart, and we'll be riding along with Bobby Terrell. But I'll tell you what, he'll be restarting back here in 5th position. I believe next time by, we'll turn the lights off on the pace car, and they'll get doubled up here.
Yeah, looking at the gearing on these cars, I don't think tire spin will be too bad for the guys on older tires, or Chad on 2. But that's something to look out for here, is that sometimes these restarts are extremely difficult, but the Nationwide cars obviously don't make as much power as a Cup car, and from when I tried the car earlier, I do think that they're going to have decent grip on the start, even if they stayed out on old tires. But it's something to look out for. It's unpredictable, because a lot of times these guys who practice, they don't really usually practice trying a restart on older tires, so you're sort of playing it by ear.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and plug the old radio show here. And if you haven't heard this show yet, of course, not because I'm on it, but you just got to tune in some night and listen in. This is a lot of fun. It's the Rewind BS and Back Talk radio show. You can join myself, Jimmy North, Evan Pasocco, Eddie Walczyk, Justin Rosenau, and a whole other bunch of guys. Every Tuesday night from 9 to 11 p.m. for an hour, actually a couple hours of rewind, looking back at previous broadcasted events here on ETV Live. All the drama and topics too hot to touch. And I'll tell you what, we do ramp it up in the BS and Back Talk segment late in the hour, and at the second hour actually, and with thoughts and opinions on some of the hot topics in both the online racing arena and the real racing arena. So it's really not an all-new show anymore. I really need to rewrite this, but I'll tell you what, if you haven't tuned in, you got to take a listen. Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock, Rewind BS and Back Talk radio show, and we are, this coming Tuesday, we have scheduled Tony Gardner, president of the iRacing here, to appear with us, and we're just waiting on confirmation as we get the green flag, and we're back to racing here at Dover. And I'll tell you what, Jose Gonzalez, who won this thing back in May, is out in front of John Abbott. Chad Coleman looking to give these guys a run for their money here tonight. The 57 of Barry Hines works his way up to the front. That's probably a new view for him as we put 57 laps in the books here at Dover.
Yeah, Chad Coleman able to clear Barry Hines on that start, which is really good for him, because had he been stuck high above the 57, that would have gave Bobby Terrell a big advantage there. But right now, Jose Gonzalez jumped out to a great start, but now John Abbott is caught right back to him. But their tires don't compare to Chad's 2 tires, as Chad's going to look for a way to get around, as we have a caution on the racetrack on the back straightaway. I believe it's 16 of Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. getting sent around.
And it is Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. And again, this is coming off of turn 2, gets a little wicked out of shape, misses the wall. He just gets a little bit too much horsepower to those rear wheels. It breaks loose and around he goes. Gets a little bit of damage on the left rear quarter panel after hitting the wall. So Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. bringing out the 3rd caution here at Dover Speedway.
Yeah, Marvin Turnmeyer, going back to the beginning of that incident, he went a pretty high line in the center of the corner, and then he matted the gas, and the car rotated. It went down to the bottom, but he had a lot of wheel into it, and he tried to drive through it, but not able to drive through it. The car came around, simply got loose, too much throttle and too much wheel, and that's what'll happen. And I tell you what, approaching that wreck, the number 03 of Nathan Bowers just backed it way down from 150 50 miles an hour all the way down to about 70 miles an hour to avoid. With that 16, Turnmeyer was going back and forth on the racetrack after wrecking, and Nathan just didn't know which way that 16 was going to end up, so he backed it down, did a great job to miss that single car incident, and those guys in the back will head down pit road and change tires.
60 laps in the books here at Dover Speedway. You're watching live, ETV Live, Cowboy. Why don't we step away and take a commercial break? When we come back, we'll get this thing lined up and green flag again, so stand by.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4, and the checkered flag, he wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
And we're working caution number 3 here at Dover Speedway. This is the Inside Sim Racing TV, real sim racing Asphalt Assault series here, live on ETV Live. And if you haven't checked them out, Cora Championship Online Racing Association. I tell you what, Cowboy, Sunday money, Cora-racing.com. You can get over there and see what those Cowboys are all about. And that Border Wars coming up, that's going to be a pretty cool thing too. They're getting together a team from Canada and a team from the United States. So Border Wars, October 13th, right here live on ETV Live. Getting ready to go green here again. Jose Gonzalez still out front. Of course, all these guys up front did not pit this last time around. Just 5 or 6 laps since that last caution. Actually 8 laps since that last caution. So Gonzalez out in front, Abbott, Coleman, Bobby Terrell in 4th position. Stefan Marinak, the points leader, by 1 point over Terrell as we get the green flag, and we're off and running again. Jose Gonzalez getting a pretty early start here on the flag, and assuring himself of a front row seat here at Dover. Of course, the usual MO back here, it's going to be Abbott, Coleman, Terrell, Marinak, CJ LeVere, who has he was about 2.5 seconds behind. I don't know whether he was struggling here or not, but CJ LeVere, who led the most laps here last time here in May at 110 laps, if he wants to have a run at the championship here in Homestead, he's really got to keep up with these guys up here in front.
Yeah, definitely. CJ LeVere still like a mistake or two from the 2 guys in front of him, and he's right there. So CJ wants to have the final 7 races without any mistakes, and we'll have to see if possibly he was just kind of going easy and saving his stuff, or maybe feeling out the car and just trying to pick up the little nuances of it that get you some speed. As towards the front, I thought Bobby Terrell was in a bad position restarting 4th with Marinac 5th, because if the inside line, as we have caution on the track, as the leaders barely miss it, that was a close call for these leaders.
And that's going to be the 666 car of Augusto Gabaldoni going around here. Going to roll it back here a little bit. Looks like he had might have had a little bit of help out of 60. Well, no contact with 65. He just get a little too much throttle. He's up on the outside, gets into the wall, bounces off across the track, and goes for a tumble. We call that an E-ticket right here on ETVLIVE, and pretty much going to end his night here, I think.
Wow, yeah, that was a two-parter. I was looking at the second part. That was the first part that JD was just mentioning right there. So he gets flipped on the front stretches as he's trying to bring it back to pit road. He doesn't realize how broken his car is, and so this. So the 666, the 666, as we just saw on the replay, he was trying to bring it to pit road, heavily damaged, and as he was trying,
and right into the barrels, that had to hurt.
Yeah, hurt his confidence, hurt his car. As we look at the first part, what caused his car to be so damaged and where he was struggling to get it back to pit road was, as JD mentioned, he was running high on the racetrack. Ed Williams Jr., I believe, in the 65, gave him actually no, didn't give him a shot at all. Ed Williams Jr. didn't touch him, but as they were side by side off of turn number 4, the 666 just gets wide into the wall, and when it sends him into the inside wall, that sent him for the tumble that JD described. And so really a two-parter there. Augusto just didn't realize how yawed out his car was, as he entered turn 3 a lot faster than he entered turn 1, and so he thought his car would make the corner, and it didn't. But luckily, the leaders were able to avoid a real catastrophe over there, because had Augusto been higher on the track, that could have been really bad.
Nice shot from the cameras here. Of course, that's Laura Lawson downstairs in the trailer pushing the buttons, working the controls for you tonight. And, I was cycling through the cars when that happened. I had to take a double take because I noticed the 84 car, Jimmy North, was sitting up there inside the top 10. That's not usually where you find the 84 car, but my co-host, my cohort on Tuesday nights on the Rewind BS and Backtalk radio show, sitting up there inside the top 10. So good going there, Jimmy.
Yeah, looking at Jimmy North and looking at his lap times from practice and everything like that, he didn't set the world on fire in practice. He was 19th fastest, but looking at his lap counter, he just did. He jumped onto the track, and his first run on the track, he ran 12 laps in a row to feel out that car, see how it would feel on the older tires. And then he came back out, and his first lap he picked it up, and he did another 5-lap run. So he didn't qualify at all. So Jimmy North just knows how that car feels, got a good feel for it. He wasn't doing just a bunch of hot lap runs in practice. And Jimmy has gone from 21st starting position to 7th. So clearly the biggest mover in this race. And now he finds himself battling for a potential top 5 running position. He's got a few cars ahead of him who did not pit 10 or 15 laps ago, and that'd be the number 10 of John Abbott and the 26 of Jose Gonzalez, who still has the lead. But Jimmy North, if he's able to get by those 2 cars shortly after the start, that will put him into 5th position. So really a job well done getting to where he is. Only 68 laps into this race. We're going to be at 92 to go as we cross the stripe this time by. And
hearing the 12 car of Douglas White making a trip down pit road here. Douglas White, if you don't know who this cowboy is, I tell you what, you got to check out his work. Just go to hippiespaintshop.com and take a look at the stuff that he paints up. I'll tell you, Doug White down around pit road getting a little bit of damage repair possibly in that 12 machine, but hippiespaintshop.com, some good stuff over there. Getting ready to get this thing rolling again. Lights are off on the pace car. Front row looks like this. Jose Gonzalez, Chad Coleman. Nothing's changed. Second row looks like this. Bobby Terrell, John Abbott. Nothing's changed. Third row looks like this. Stefan Marinac, CJ LeVere. Nothing's changed. All the way back to Jimmy North, who sits there in 7th position. Rhett McBride with a solid run in 8th. Brian Harvey in 9th. John Wilco in the 62 machine. He'll restart in 10th position here at Dover this time around. Jose Gonzalez out in front. Now, again, he won this race last in May, leading 30 laps. ETVLIVE led the most. The green flag comes out, and we're off and running. I tell you what, Jose Gonzalez just can't wait to get on that gas pedal.
Yeah, Jose clearly likes going early on in that restart zone, and Chad Coleman, a lot of times when you restart second, it makes you susceptible to getting passed by the third place car. A lot of times that leader goes on the exit to turn 4, and that opens the door for that third place car. But look at Chad. Just can't believe how great of a run he got through 3 and 4. Jose with the older tires, and now Chad's going to have to look to get a run on that 26 car. Jose still in the lead after staying out, 15:20 to go. And now we have Chad Coleman looking to lead his first laps of this race. Huge
All right, we've got
wreck.
caution on the field with the 57. Have you got it there?
Yeah, huge wreck through 1 and 2. The 77's involved, Randall Watkins. I see the 16 of Marvin Turnmeyer. We'll have to see where it started. Actually, it started entering turn 1.
Yeah, it looks like the 77. Well, I mean, we got a huge line of cars back here on the backstretch, and the 77 looks like he just gets out of the throttle like he should, but it's just an accordion. The 57 right there behind the 77. That's J. Ronald Watkins up there in front, and then the 57, 16 Turnmeyer Jr. back here as well. And it's just a big accordion effect, and it causes a huge pileup back here in the back.
Yeah, a lot of times, as we see the wreck breakout entering turn number 1, when the 77 enters the turn 1 just a little bit easier than maybe he had been. And the reason for that, there was a lot of cars battling in front of him, and John Wilco in front of him had to back off earlier for the cars in front of him. So Randall entering turn 1 a little bit easy. Barry Hines not so much, didn't anticipate that. And Barry got into the back of him and sent the 57 hard into the wall. When Turnmeyer came in there, possibly a little bit of damage for Nathan Bowers. Britt Van Meter gets a little bit of a ding on the door, might have come away really well with that. Britt Van Meter, I believe, did a really good job slowing himself down and avoiding that. Just a little bit of contact. He might have some damage to fix, but it could have been a lot worse for that 27. But just at least 4 or 5 cars involved in this one, as the track was pretty much blocked in 1 and 2.
Yeah, it looks like the car that's going to take the biggest hit is going to be that 57. He takes a hard hit into the outside wall during this whole thing. So 57 may be done for the night here.
Yeah, and that was a battle brewing for the 11th position, and all the cars that got damaged were pretty much running 11th through 15th. So not what they needed, certainly. Early on in these runs, people are on top of each other, and you'll see people back off earlier, and that's usually stuff like that can happen really easily in a situation like that. Just the guy, Barry Hines, just not anticipating a little bit of a checkup as they were going a little bit easy in turn number 1. You can throw these cars into the corner when you're alone, but when you have a car to keep off of, sometimes you just got to take it easy, and that's exactly what Randall was doing.
All right, and I believe we got Barry Hines on the radio here, the driver of the number 57 machine. Barry, this is JD and Harrison up in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, man.
Hey, what happened down there on the start there? Looked like things just kind of got piled up down there in the turn.
Yeah, I was trying to go in. I was just trying to stay up with them, and I checked up first time, and I kind of got used to it. And then second time, checked up a little bit more, but it was probably somebody in front of him too. And I got on the brakes a little bit, but it didn't do nothing but slide. And I got into him, tried to stay off of him, and keep him from spinning out, but it happened anyway.
It looked like you were holding your own down there pretty good. You going to be able to get some repairs done on that car and get it back out on the track, or what's it looking like from here?
Yeah, I'm getting repaired now. It's probably going to take a little bit. I'm probably going to go multiple laps down before I get it all fixed and get back out there and just turn some laps.
Hey, that's what it's all about, Cowboy. I tell you what, good luck to you, and let's get that thing fixed up and get you back out on the track, bud.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Y'all take care.
Barry Hines, the driver of the number 57 machine, Harrison. It's just one of those accordion deals. I mean, it's follow the leader into the turns, and somebody's just going to be a little bit too heavy on the throttle, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, early on after those restarts, you're just trying to time it to where you know people in front of you, especially when they're bunched up, are going to be lifting earlier than they usually do. And so you try to anticipate just how early they're going to have to lift. And it's an easy thing to get wrong, pretty much. Barry just didn't think they were going to lift quite as early as they did. And he got out of the gas pretty early. It's just, sometimes not early enough. And that's an easy mistake to make. Everyone does that. It's just one of those factors of where you have to anticipate what everyone else is doing. It's a lot of guesswork in that situation.
Lights are off on the pace car. Curious thing about Jose Gonzalez, as soon as the pace car pulls off, the 26, Jose is just right on the throttle. Bobby Terrell, on the other hand, he took him all the way down to the flag stand. So just a little bit different strategy here on the restarts. Of course, Gonzalez still out in front. Nothing's changed up here at all. Jimmy North occupying the 5th place position. Remember, he started 7th last time. So North having a good night here in that 84 machine. And the pace car's off, and there goes Jose. Throttle down, Cowboy, as they get right with it here on lap 76. And I'll tell you what, Marinak up there on the outside in that 24 machine, probably not where he wants to be up here. He's got the 7 of Bobby Terrell downstairs on the bottom. Terrell's going to get the run off the turn and is going to take that 3rd place spot away from Marinak. Marinak falls victim to the 7. Jimmy North still hanging tight in 5th position. I'll tell you what, these guys are really getting with it now. 77 laps in the books. We're just a little bit, about 17 laps past the halfway point, so we got still plenty of racing to do here at Dover Speedway. So actually, we're not even at the halfway point. My bad.
Yeah, about 4 laps away from halfway as Chad Coleman in the number 28 looks for a way to get past Jose, but Jose getting a decent run off the corner. Chad Coleman's tires have him getting good runs in the center, just not able to get underneath that 26 car right now. But you mentioned Jose been going pretty early on these restarts. That one, he took a little bit longer to be a little bit more unpredictable. The guys behind him started to anticipate it, and it never happened. So Jose Gonzalez with the older tires, Jose Gonzalez actually able to sort of be equalized with the competition around him, as his tires have had a lot of heat cycles on them as well as the cars around him. So it's not quite the disadvantage that he had 20 laps ago, but still the 26 added tire disadvantage regardless. And Bobby Terrell currently in 3rd, just biding his time, running behind Chad Coleman, who is on 2. But Chad unable to get the job done on the 26, and Jose's done a great job with those older tires.
Last car on the lead lap is going to be the number 16 of Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. 8.9, let's call it 9 seconds behind the leader. And it won't be long here, a couple more laps, and he'll probably get passed by Jose Gonzalez and team up here of Coleman, Terrell, Marinak, the whole front row. But let's take a look back here, about 11th position. John Wilco on the outside looking in on Doug Roth for a 10th place run here. He's got a little bit of time to make up here. He's about 4 car lengths in back of Doug Roth up there in 43 as he takes a souvenir off the wall. So I tell you what, I see pieces of concrete laying in the passenger seat of a lot of these cars.
Yeah, John Wilco, actually another driver who started outside of the top 20. Wilco did not set a qualifying time and started in the 25th position. And right now, working his way closer to the 43 of Doug Roth. Wilco is there as he's right on Doug Roth. Wilco running a higher line in the center of 3 and 4, trying to get a good run off, but Doug Roth carried a lot of speed, able to edge him on exit. As we look closer through the field, Jimmy North in the number 84 has officially worked himself up into the top 5, running ahead of Rhett McBride right now. So Jimmy North from 21st to 5th. Another, probably the biggest mover so far. Gained more just a couple more spots than John Wilco had. Wilco was under the radar for quite a while. We've been following Jimmy for a lot of this race. But Jimmy not quite up with the leaders right now. There's a gap between 4th and 5th. But leading that second pack after that gap is the 84 of Jimmy North, who's under attack right now from Rhett McBride. Rhett McBride gets underneath him as they're side by side for 5th position.
Yeah, McBride came diving into that turn right below the 84. Jimmy's going to give it up to the 15 here. But, even if Jimmy can finish inside the top 10, it'll be a little bit of redemption for him. He finished 4 laps down in 19 or 18th position here last time at this track last May. So Jimmy North certainly holding his own. Some of the other guys we haven't been talking about a whole lot here, the 27 machine, Britt Van Meter, relatively new to real sim racing here in the Asphalt Assault Series on Thursday night. Van Meter sitting back here in 13th position and just kind of keeping it clean here, turning his laps. So sometimes that's just what you got to do. Put it on cruise control here and wait till the race really starts at about 20 to go here. But Van Meter holding his own here.
As we run, or as we look on board the number 27 car, Britt Van Meter, he's got a little bit of a gap to the car in front of him. In front of him is the 65 of Ed Williams Jr., who we've seen in some battles throughout the race. But Britt in the 27 has done a pretty good job. We've seen him have good runs in this series. We've seen him have good runs and had them spoiled. And he had a really good run when he debuted in the Full Throttle Cup Series, if I recall. Don't recall what finish he got, but I think it was up there. And Britt has just been solid. Kept his nose clean, hasn't caused problems. And I think these drivers, as they run with him more and more, learn that he's someone that they can race around. He's got a little bit of right side damage from using that. He's gotten the wall a little bit, I believe, earlier in the race, resulting in some right side damage and opening the crease on the right side of his hood, letting some air in, which is not good for aerodynamics. But I don't believe it's hurting him too much as long as the wheels are straight. But some damage from that wall, much like a lot of these cars. We see a lot of cars getting into the outside wall in this race.
CJ Levere finishing in, I believe CJ finished 9th here in May, still sitting back here in 6th position. I still think he's waiting. CJ is somewhat of a methodical driver. He's not going to show his stuff here until late in the game, and he'll really put the pressure on usually. So I'm hoping that that's the MO here at Dover for that number 4 machine here tonight. But CJ is certainly holding his own. A little bit of a battle up in front, and it's going to be, I believe, I think it was Chad. If I'm not mistaken, I have to roll it back here. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. I believe Coleman may have overtaken Terrell.
Coleman actually had a really close encounter with the wall.
That's what it was.
Coming out of turn number 4, I thought he hit it. I wasn't riding near him enough to see if he did hit it, but I went back and watched, and Coleman, number 28, Chad Coleman, very close to hitting the wall, and as he got extremely loose avoiding it, and had to save it way down the track, able to hold on to that spot. But that was a close call. He knew just how much you don't want to hit these walls here, and he did all he could to stay off of it, which he successfully did.
You know, as we look at the replay, you know, I was about 5 or 6 cars back watching up there, and it almost looked like, from my vantage point, it looked like he went around somebody, but you're absolutely right. A little bit of a close call with the wall, so able to get it back under control. Coleman up there in the 28 machine, still hanging on tight, but Bobby Terrell certainly running him down here in that 7 machine. Terrell staying as close as he can to these guys up there in front. As long as he finishes in front of Stefan Mayer and I can get that point back, Terrell's got to be out in front of Stefan Marinac no matter what happens here at Dover here tonight. And of course, Terrell is looking for a good finish. He's looking for that championship trophy at the end of the season here with the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series. So I'll tell you what, you know, back down through the line here, John Abbott, who was looked like he was contending for the front runners up here, have drifted back to 7th position. That's John Abbott in that 10 machine back here, pretty much running by himself. With Jimmy North almost about maybe 2 or 3 tenths behind him here.
Yeah, we saw John Abbott running 4th and 5th a lot earlier in the race. He was on the same strategy as Jose Gonzalez until about 20 laps ago. Jose Gonzalez staying out when John Abbott came down pit road. As they work around the lap car, Marvin Turnmeyer, who was involved in that last caution, a lot of damage, just giving these guys a lot of room. But Abbott had a good run going, and actually still has a good run going, just a different strategy than Jose Gonzalez. And Jose Gonzalez in the number 26, I'm really impressed that he has kept the lead. He got some of those heat cycles through the cautions where it evens out the disadvantage a little bit compared to his competition around him. And Bobby Terrell as well in third was not able to get around Chad Coleman up to this point. Chad being on 2 tires, Bobby being on 4. So these guys showing track position definitely means something here as Jose Gonzalez has taken that lead and hasn't looked back.
98 laps in the books here at Dover. Why don't we go ahead and step away? Let's take a commercial break right here, right now. You're watching live, ETV Live. There is no other choice. Don't wander off. We'll be right back.
Plus other listeners where you can hear everything from Big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV Live, sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
And we are back live here. We're actually coming back to a replay. This just happened moments ago on lap 100. Bobby Terrell around the 28 of Chad Coleman. So Bobby Terrell now running down Jose Gonzalez, who is still out there in front by about a half a second, actually a little bit better than a half a second. So Coleman giving it up to the number 7 machine. That's the 28 car falls back here to third. But do it, he's still putting a lot of pressure on that 7 up here in front.
Yeah, as you saw from the replay, Bobby looked low on the 28, and Chad gave him room. He saw that Bobby's been pretty fast and running good times, and he also knows that Bobby's competing for a title, and he isn't at this point, this being his first Asphalt Assault race of the season. And so giving a lot of room there, as we still have quite a while to go in this race. We have, as we cross the stripe, this time is 56 to go, so it doesn't hurt to get back in line and not race someone too hard, especially when racing someone too hard on the high side, you can really hurt your right front tire. So Chad Coleman back to third, and now Chad in the 28 is being pressured by the 24, Stefan Marinak, the other driver in this title fight, who hasn't been up there leading laps this event, but he's been there to capitalize on any mistakes people make. As he's been running fourth, I would say the majority of this event, he's been hanging around third and fourth. So Marinak now putting pressure on the 28 of Chad Coleman, looking to see if he can do what Bobby Terrell just did a few laps ago.
As Jose Gonzalez opens up a better than a half a second lead over Bobby Terrell. Let's drift on back here to about 15th position. Stephen Herring back here in the number 98 machine. He's the series admin, or actually he's a race official for the Monday Night Full Throttle Cup Series. And I tell you what, this dude is like a stand-up comedian. If you've ever heard his drivers' meetings, they're the most hilarious things you'd ever want to listen to. In fact, next Tuesday night we're going to play a couple of cuts from a drivers' meeting. I think it was back in New Hampshire here last week. But Stephen Herring doing an awesome job here tonight in that number 15 machine. And if I know Steve, he's just out here to run some laps, cowboy. This dude's just all about having fun. So shout out to the 98 there, Stephen Herring.
Yeah, that baby blue foghorn leghorn car, if I have that paint correct, I believe I do. As you said, really entertaining drivers meetings. I was just telling a friend of mine the other night, I was saying, I think I got to record one of these so you can hear them. I think a week or two ago, actually it was last week, that I referred to his driver meetings as being very Steve Summers-ish, who's a New York sports a New York sports broadcaster for WFAN New York City, well known around the country. He's been all over the country. He might be doing national reporting, but he's very like that as well, where he uses a lot of humor and a lot of straight up poetry. And Stephen Herring reminds me very much of him. So right now, Stephen running in the 15th position in a 27-car field. There's 16 on the lead lap right now. That's Douglas Wyatt trying to chase down Stephen, but he's about second behind him. So this is the Monster Mile. There is some attrition. We have about 11 cars. Actually, we do have 11 cars not on the lead lap right now, and about 9 of them are not on the track.
Nathan Bowers in the 03 machine up here in 14th position. He's up in front of Stephen Herring by about a second, a little more than a second. But Bowers holding his own in that 03 machine as well. But you're absolutely right. We've got a bunch of them down here on the bottom. Glenn Campbell, who unfortunately his night ended pretty early, 57 laps down on the hauler, headed for the barn. Glenn Campbell, he started in 14th position, worked all the way up. I think he was all the way up there in the top 10, if I'm not mistaken, before his night ended. So along with the 666 of Augusto Galbadoni, Frank Coons is out. John Eller's on the way to the barn with Josh Cheney and Keith Brooks Jr. as well. So with 14 cars on the track, 111 laps in the books, it's all about Jose Gonzalez out here in front. He's looking for a repeat. He won this thing back in May.
Yeah, and as we've gotten a lot of laps on these tires, Bobby Terrell, ever since getting by the 28 of Chad Coleman, has caught up to our leader. So Bobby, the fastest car on the track right now, 2/10 behind Jose Gonzalez, looking to get by him as soon as he can. Meanwhile, Stefan Marinak and Rhett McBride both able to get by Chad Coleman. Chad's 2 tires might not be feeling too great at the moment, but Marinak not able to keep up with Bobby or Jose right now. But that moves Stefan Marinak up to 3rd, Rhett McBride up to 4th, and CJ Levere in the 4 cars we've talked about a lot this evening is about half of a second behind Coleman, trying to get up there as well.
And Bobby Terrell is about 3/10 faster than Jose Gonzalez up here. So Terrell is the fastest car on the track here right now, and he is just inching closer and closer and closer to that 26 machine as they work around lap traffic. That's going to be the 03 up there on the top side of Nathan Bowers as he goes down the lap. So Terrell in number 7 working over Jose Gonzalez pretty good. 114 laps in the books here at Dover Speedway. CJ Levere is still in that number 4 car, is still back here about 6th position, about 3.4 seconds off of the lead up here. Still has him in sight here a little bit, but I'm hoping that CJ is not falling victim to some kind of car issues or handling problems or a confidence issue here at Dover. CJ Levere, one of 3 drivers, Harrison, that we've been watching here in the since about 3 weeks ago that really have a shot at a season champion. And for these 3 guys, it's going to go all the way to Homestead. So it'll be some fantastic racing when we get there.
Yeah, literally a tie for the points lead right now, and then CJ is about 40 behind them with a shot, because you can make up 40 points in about a 37 car field. Should something go really wrong for the guy you're trying to catch. One thing I picked up on CJ Levere's car is that he's got a little bit of minor front end damage where his his splitter is crinkled. I was combining words there. His splitter was crinkled a little bit, and he's got a little bit of air possibly heading underneath that hood, a gap between the fender and the hood just a little bit. Nothing major, but it's enough that, and we see the 77 car in the apron leaving pit road once again. He got some damage a couple laps ago. I believe he's been returning to pit road trying to get more fixed. But CJ Levere, his damage might not be affecting him that much. Maybe it's only down a little bit of speed, but that can make you tight. And so CJ's car might not be handling the way he wants it to be.
And we just had a passive lead here just a moment ago. Bobby Terrell overtook the 26 machine of Jose Gonzalez. So moved Terrell out in front here. Rhett McBride is still in 3rd. Stefan Marinak chasing all these guys down. But we should be seeing pit stops here for Terrell, Gonzalez, and all these guys up here in front. Remember, they have stayed out in the last 2 or 3 cautions, Harrison. So we should be seeing green flag pit stops here momentarily by these guys up in front.
Yeah, definitely. Coming up on that window where should we see green flag pit stops, it should be 4 tires for just about everybody. As we catch that replay of the pass, which was came just a few laps ago, similar to when Bobby Terrell was able to get by Chad Coleman, but he got a much better run on Jose Gonzalez, head down the backstretch, looks low, and Gonzalez actually came off the wall a little bit. He got a little too close to it. A little bit of a close call entering turn number 3, but all is well that ends well, and Bobby Terrell back up to the lead after a number of laps, not able to get there. Extremely tough to pass, but I tell you what, that 7 car did the passing, and certainly he wants to win races because actually, as Stefan Marinak, trying to see where he's at on the track right now, the 24 actually lost a spot to the number 15 of Rhett McBride. For a second there, I thought he might have come down pit road, but Rhett McBride is just doing a really good job on this long run.
And Marinak may be signaling a pit stop here momentarily. I saw his name pop up on the window. So we may be looking at green flag pit stops here just momentarily. But I'll tell you what, 124 laps in the books here at Dover Speedway. We're about 40 laps shy of the checkered flag here yet. So, I mean, still a lot of racing to go here. But I'm hearing some chatter on the radio here, and I got a funny feeling we're looking at some pit stops here. The 28 Chad Coleman drifting back, falling victim to C.J. LeVere. But still watching Jose Gonzalez and Bobby Terrell up here. Terrell opening up a 2/10 of a second lead over Jose Gonzalez. Now 3/10 of a second. So green flag pit stops should be imminent here in the next, I'm going to give it possibly 5 or 6 laps here.
Absolutely, and at about that 28 of Chad Coleman, one of the things that might be making him a little slower on this long run is the right side tires, and he's at a little bit of a tire disadvantage compared to what these guys around him are doing. They pitted more recently, and they had 4. But Chad Coleman also a little bit of right side damage from earlier in the race when he caught the wall off of turn number 4. Now sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't. So it may have made his car even tighter, and this is a car that you can get extremely tight. And we should be seeing pit stops, as you said, coming up pretty soon. Especially the cars to look out for are Jose Gonzalez, especially. I think Jose might have the least fuel out of anyone here. And so when he heads down pit road, we know that we're in that range for everyone else to be stuck in the same situation.
Gonzalez just working past the lap down car of I believe that was the 65 of Ed Williams Jr. But Gonzalez trying to run down Bobby Terrell, and sounds like Chad Coleman making his way down pit road. So I'm sure it'll be a 4-tire change for him. And let's see, how does the Cowboy put it? 4 new shoes and a bucket of oats for the number 28 machine as he slowly inches his way at 35 miles an hour down pit road. So he is actually going to set up the beginnings of green flag stops here. It should be Terrell, Gonzalez, McBride, Marinak should be coming down along with LeVere. A lot of these guys did not pit for the last three cautions here. So they should be coming down momentarily. John Wilco was signaling his pit stop. That's the number 62 machine as he works his way down past the commit line onto pit road. 35 miles an hour, 4 new shoes and a bucket of oats.
Yeah, John Wilco just got it down to pit road speed in time, I believe. When you're Chad Coleman, you don't want to caution right now. Chad able to pit, or having to pit earlier than his competitors, may have short pitches just by a couple laps as well, but he was losing time on those older tires, and now that he's got new tires, he can make time up on the people should green flag stops completely cycle through. So Chad wants to see this stay green, and he will make up a couple of seconds at least, which will give him good track position by the time others pit. Now obviously when the others pit, they will have the better tires, but track position goes a long way at this track. And as we talked about in the pre-race show, pitting It's extremely easy to speed on pit road. It's extremely easy to miss pit road. I ran a league race here earlier this year where I sped twice in the same race. And, you know, people might often call me Captain Conservative when it comes to a lot of things like that. Pit road speeding penalties are something I don't usually do, but it is so easy to do here. I did it twice in a row. And so when these guys lift for turn number 3, they got to get way out of the gas. You really can't get back on the gas. You are set to enter pit road literally as you enter turn 3. And so it's easy to get wrong, very easy, as not a whole lot of other cars have come down pit road yet. And so, which works into Chad's favor should green flag pit stops completely cycle through. Chad Coleman currently being shown in the 15th position 2 laps down, and he'll get those 2 laps back once most of the cars on the lead lap come down pit road.
24 car just taking a souvenir off the wall here off of turn 2. Of course, that's a likely turn we've been watching all night. Actually turn 4, my bad there. But we're watching Bobby Terrell, Jose Gonzalez, and Jose Gonzalez on his way down pit road. So the 26 machine breaks off. He is across the commit line, making his way down pit road into his pit box, and for sure it's going to be 4 new shoes and a bucket of oats for that 26 team, and we'll get Jose back out on the track. Keeping an eye on the 7 car of Bobby Terrell out in front, also the 15 of Rhett McBride, and I believe Marinak also in the 24 car on his way down, points leader by 1 point over Bobby Terrell. So as Terrell still putting laps in out there on the track, we've got the front runners down on pit road.
Yeah, this is pretty clear that Jose Gonzalez had actually less fuel than Chad Coleman, which makes it clear that Coleman's short pit and that Stefan Marinak is short pitting right now. And that's because Marinak had ground to make up on Bobby Terrell. So this puts Bobby Terrell in a box where he could stay out as long as he can, and if a caution were to come out, puts Bobby in a really good spot. But he also runs the risk of losing a lot of time on Marinak on the opposite side of the coin. If he pits relatively soon, he's not going to lose too much ground on Marinak, but they could both get stuck racing a lap down. As entering pit road right now, Nathan Bowers, who did a great job of missing the spinning car of Marvin Turnmeyer, I want to say, much earlier in the race, did a magnificent job missing that wreck. But actually a lap ago, he got loose down the front stretch, Nathan Bowers, and hit the inside wall, giving him a considerable amount of damage, which kind of swayed him to come in a little bit early himself. Actually, he hit the inside wall twice. He hit the outside wall coming out of turn 2 after catching the inside wall, and it sent him to the inside wall in the backstretch. So a lot of trouble there for Bowers, who's running in 13th. As we look now, and Bobby Terrell still electing to stay out, and he may be hoping for a caution to catch a lot of those guys a lap down, as we hear a couple of guys just discuss, a couple of guys just letting each other by and racing easy right now. But I tell you, Marinak with those fresher tires, able to run a full second faster than the leader of the race, Bobby Terrell. And that's the advantage that you get when you short pit. And right now, Marinak actually being shown ahead of Chad Coleman in the running order.
I think Bobby Terrell may be taking a huge risk here. At a short track like this, I probably would have pitted with the front runners up here, I think. I think Terrell may be taking a big risk if he's banking on a caution here. Remember, Gonzalez, Marinak, Coleman, all these guys have already pitted. So, the luck would be if a caution comes out, these guys would be caught a lap down. But then, only time will tell here. But Terrell still out here on the track. Pretty much running all by himself. Second place is Rhett McBride back there in the 15 machine, about 4.5 seconds behind him. So Terrell pretty much no competition, just waiting for him to come down pit road.
As we see the 77 of Randall Watkins way high on the track, his car was very damaged, and he caught the wall entering turn number 3, and it just sucked him in. And he was stuck there, able to get it going again. Now he's running on the apron. But as we get deeper into this race, I should note Stefan Marinak took 2 tires on his pit stop, and that's because we're in a window where you don't need to add too much gas. And so if Bobby Terrell has to find his way coming to pit road shortly, he actually is trying to. One thing that's good about this is that he only has to put in as much gas as he needs, so he may elect to do a gas and go. Now there's 16 laps to go right now, so he doesn't need to put in very much gas. He might elect not to take tires. In fact, that might be the call to make, since Marinak took tires and he's gained a lot of ground. So you need to do whatever you can to keep the track position that you have. But it'll be interesting to see how the fuel mileage numbers look for a few of these cars, because I'm starting to wonder if anyone is close enough on field to make it, although I really doubt it. I think he's just waiting to gas and go and spend his least amount of time on pit road that he can.
Yeah, I don't know. I just something tells me that's just a big mistake on his part. We'll find out here pretty soon. Terrell still out there on front. Even if it is a gas and go, you got to remember it's only 35 miles down there on pit road. He's got to go all the way down to that first box at the end of pit road, down there where that pace car is parked. So it's a long trip for him just for a gas and go. So we'll see what happens here just shortly. Of course, he's working his way through lap traffic. The 16 car just taking a piece out of the wall as the 7 car works past him here. So I don't know. We'll see what Terrell's all about here shortly.
Yeah, and as I look back at Jose Gonzalez's stop, he took 2 tires as well. So it basically puts him in a box where Terrell at this point, when he pits, he would probably lose the lead to Marinak because of how much ground Marinak was able to make up on these newer tires. But the question is, would the gas and go be enough to retain the lead? It's hard to say. I don't think that if he were to pit now and just take as much gas as he needed, I think Marinak has made up enough ground that Marinak would actually get the lead. So this is really interesting how strategy's coming into play. Terrell once again looking like the guy to beat, and Marinak is just working his way, trying to win this race on execution.
All right, and tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go nonstop with Bobby Terrell up here in front on a side-by-side here for a while and see what happens. The laps are starting to wind down, 10 to go here at Dover. He may be thinking he can get all the way here. Remember, the 7 car did not stop the last 3 cautions. That's back on 58, 67, and 71. So Terrell working his way down pit road now. Bobby Terrell coming in on pit road, across to the commit line. It's 35 miles an hour with 10 to go here at Dover. The 7 machine, 35 miles an hour. Remember, his pit box all the way down at the other end of the pit lane here. So he's just got to be careful, stay off the gas, 35 miles an hour, inch that number 7 down pit road, and we'll keep an eye on Bobby Terrell and see what the crew does for him here on pit road as he works his way into his pit box here just momentarily. And I tell you, it's just a crawl down here to the end of pit road. And he's in his box and no tires for the 7 machine. It is a gas and go. Terrell back out on the track, the number 7 machine, gas and go here for the final laps here at Dover. So Terrell looking to take home the trophy here tonight with a gas and go. Rhett McBride out in front right now in the 15 machine. McBride maybe on a different pit sequence. 15 car might have enough to finish this race here tonight.
I tell you what, Bobby Terrell, that gas and go was such a difference in time compared to the 2 tires that he was able to get the lead, or actually retain the lead from Marinak. Marinak currently being shown about 3 seconds, roughly 3 seconds behind Bobby Terrell, so Terrell able to keep that track position. One thing I want to note, though, is Bobby Terrell exited the pit pretty early. It was to my understanding that there's a merge rule in this league where you have to merge on the backstretch, although maybe that's not for this series, and I'm thinking of the other series. I don't know that for a fact, but Bobby actually merged pretty early, so I'm sort of waiting to hear if the admins make a call on that to say that he merged too early, that he would have to come back in. But regardless, Terrell probably was going to have that lead over Marinak. He came out with quite a bit of room.
No pressure from CJ LeVere here in the points. Even with LeVere running up there in 3rd position, Terrell must finish in front of Stefan Marinak no matter where he finishes here at Dover here tonight to be able to retain or to get back the lead here. But it's not going to be by much. Rhett McBride, the leader on the track right now, out in front of John Abbott by about 1.5 seconds, with CJ LeVere in a 3rd place run here about let's call it 5.3 seconds in back of the leader. So as the laps start to wind down, it's all about the 15 machine and Rhett McBride if he can make it all the way to the end. And I believe he can. The 15 machine, I believe it was one of the cars that pitted on one of those late cautions here at Dover. So he may be set up for a trophy run here at Dover tonight.
Yeah, looking at lap times, trying to gauge if Rhett McBride has been trying to save gas. It looks like he has been trying to save a good bit. And I tell you what, he only needs to make 3 more laps around. I was questioning about whether any of these front runners would really be able to make it all the way. But as he crosses the stripe now, Rhett McBride, who's run top 5 pretty much the entire event, comes across the stripe, takes 3 to go. Just 3 more miles, actually about 2.5 now, for the number 15 car. John Abbott also making it on fuel, so if either of these guys are able to make it, they'll capitalize on the slip of the other. CJ LeVere is 6 seconds behind the leader and still on the track. Britton Van Meter might be the last guy trying to make it on fuel, still keeping himself away from pitting. So real change of events here, because I wasn't sure if Rhett McBride or anyone else would be able to make it on gas. But you're right, those guys who pitted later than some of these others might be able to pull it off, and that would be a great turn of events for them. As Rhett McBride this time around takes the white flag, and he really needs just to have enough to coast it on home once he gets to the second half of the track.
White flag in the air for Rhett McBride. Stefan Marinak can see the 7 machine out there in front, but it's too little too late, Cowboy. He ain't going to be able to get there. Rhett McBride crosses the start-finish line, is out of gas. The 15 is out of gas. John Abbott is coasting by and will pick up the checkered flag here at Dover. Rhett McBride, the 15, is out of gas, Cowboy.
Wow. So close for Rhett McBride, running in car as he runs out of gas. Going in car right now with the number 15 of Rhett McBride, is we thought he had it. I couldn't believe that these guys were going to be able to push it that far and be able to make it on fuel, but JD called it exactly when he pointed out just how late they had pitted. They were pitted later than a lot of those cars who had to come down pit road, so Bobby Terrell leads the most laps, I believe, this race, or came very close, led a bunch of laps, and he's going to be finishing in 5th. John Abbott, as we are about to look at the replay from his vantage point, John Abbott saved more gas than Rhett McBride, was able to pass Rhett on the final lap, entering turn number 3. Abbott gets officially his first win of the season, I do believe. First win of the season for John Abbott, who sits 7th in points, and after that will be, by my calculations, sitting 5th in points. But let me tell you, the gamble didn't get Rhett McBride the win, but it got him 2nd. And CJ LeVere, it got CJ 3rd. Why is that important? He's 40 behind the leader, able to pick up at least a point on Bobby Terrell and a couple more on Marinak. So this brings the 3rd place car of LeVere even closer. But John Abbott victorious today at Dover.
And Bobby Terrell manages to finish out in front of Stefan Marinak, so he should come out on top here, but not by much, getting the points lead back here with the Asphalt Assault Series. But Rhett McBride, certainly the talk of the town here tonight, with what looked like was going to be a trophy run here to the finish line, runs out of gas on the white flag lap, and John Abbott able to come by. Unfortunately, CJ LeVere, who was just too far behind as McBride coasted across the start-finish line, couldn't make up the distance, but LeVere with a podium finish here at Dover tonight. So as we watch John Abbott burn off what's left on his tire down around start-finish line, let's cut away. Let's go to commercial break. When we come back, the post-race show here from Dover. So don't wander off. We'll be right back. And we are back live here at Dover Speedway. And I tell you what, this is certainly John Abbott's night. And there's a party going on in, where do you live, John? Missouri?
I'm down here in
Arkansas?
Ricky Stenhouse neck of the woods, Olive Branch, Mississippi, right here below Memphis, Tennessee.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to watch this finish here. I mean, this has got to be a classic. Rhett McBride runs out of gas on the last lap. I mean, what a trophy run he was having right up until that moment. And when you went past the 15, I mean, what happened inside that 10 car?
Oh boy, my teammates, I think their ears are still ringing. I'm like, I didn't know if Rhett had pitted when CJ and I did, and I was beginning to think he did, and I was kicking myself for not trying to run him down any harder than I was. And then when he ran out on the backstretch, I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Well, I'll tell you what, the only conversation you and I ever have at these races is usually about the business end of the deal, but tonight it's all about winning a trophy. I think this is your first win of the season, isn't it?
Oh yeah, this is the first win of any of our TV series. JD had a win over in the ETV series at Phoenix, but this is the first one in our league in the TV series. I won a few of the other series races, but this is the first one, so I'm stoked.
I'll bet you are. And of course, I'm getting a note passed to me here. What does the name Boogie Bear mean? Does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, it's these little creatures that jump out of the bushes down here in the South. We call them booger bears.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, what a run you had here tonight. It almost looked like Bobby Terrell was setting himself up to pick up the trophy, but a late pit stop set him back. Of course, all he had to do was finish out in front of Stefan Marinak. But I tell you, to see that 10 machine out there in front, it's a well-deserved run for you here tonight. And congratulations on the win. Who made it happen for you, John?
Yeah, JD, first of all, I want to thank you guys at ETV and LSR. And the commentators for the job they do. Laura behind the pushing the buttons. Without you guys, the series wouldn't be near as much fun. But I lead race. They handle our driver management program. He's on my car. I'd like to thank Sean Purdy. If you're starting a league or thinking about starting a league, it's a good place to go. One-stop shopping. And Inside Sim Racing TV for being the series sponsor. hippiespaintshop.com if you want a good paint. Like most of us are running here tonight, go to hippiespaintshop.com. And Disabled Racers, Aaron Grosskopf. I think he was the Grand Marshal of the ARCA race at Kentucky. Hope y'all got to see him. And anyway, and my teammates at Stroker Races, they helped me out a lot tonight with pit strategy and restarts and that sort of thing.
Party at the Stroker Races Clubhouse tonight. John Abbott picking up the win here at Dover Speedway, and I'll tell you what, a well-deserved win that is. I'm going to send it on down pit road. I believe Harrison's caught up with our second-place finisher who was scrambling, looking for that gas can in the back of the car as he came off that last turn, unfortunately running out of gas, but still finishes the second place here tonight, Rhett McBride.
Yeah, Rhett McBride with a great finish tonight. And we saw him trying to win that race on fuel strategy once the opportunity presented itself. Went about 87 or 88 laps on fuel until ran out of wind basically for his sails. But a really great run. We saw him running with the leaders. And Rhett, it was a great points day, a great finish. But certainly you had to be a little disappointed looking for that second win of the season.
Yeah, let me take the gun out of my mouth real quick. Yeah, that kind of is a tough beat, but I probably stretched it a lot longer than I should have anyway, so I guess I kind of got lucky to get second. I saw John back there, and I kind of knew what he was thinking. He thought that I was going to run out, and sure enough I did. But if I got to lose it that way to somebody, I'm glad it was John. He always races me fair and everything, so win some, you lose some.
Yeah, you definitely have to go down trying, and try you did, and you're sitting fourth in points, having a pretty solid year. A little bit out of touch with the leaders, where you're certainly going for these wins, and it was a good risk to take tonight. but certainly solidifying yourself fourth in points this evening, only losing points on John Abbott, who will move up to fifth in points and is about 25 behind you, I believe, by my calculations. But fourth in points, and looking at these final 6 races to go, where we have races at Talladega and Homestead, and I believe Phoenix, a few tracks like that. Are there any tracks that you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Kansas. I mean, that's a new one for us, so that place is a lot of fun. It's I like that place, Homestead. That should be a good track for us too, and yeah, I mean, we're sitting back at fourth and those guys up front, that's one of the things, like in a place like this, you want to run hard, but at the same time you don't want to ruin anybody's championship, so you kind of got to be careful. But we've been sneaking up on it this year, and just trying to get ready really for next season, maybe steal a few wins here and there and come and get them next season hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, you made a great show of it tonight. 87 laps, I believe, my calculations, that you went on field before running dry on the final lap, but it's a great run nonetheless. And certainly everyone who was watching knew you were there. And so who would you like to thank after tonight's second place run?
Well, Harris, I'd like to thank you guys up there in the booth. Y'all do a great job, JD and Laura, pushing the buttons, all you guys. And I'd like to thank Inside Sim Racing for sponsoring the series. My sponsor, GT Omega, Racing Sim Chassis at gtomega.com. And also I'd like to thank the guys at Peach State Racing, Mark and Chris and Hollis, all those guys over there. So that's it.
Yeah, that's our second place finisher, Rhett McBride. And I believe JD has caught up with CJ LeVere, who ended up making up points on the leaders with a third place finish tonight.
And that's exactly what he needs to do coming into Dover, 41 points in back of Stefan Marinac, who was just 1 point out in front of Terrell. And CJ, I'll tell you what, Cowboy, started in 7th tonight here at Dover, finished in 3rd. It's got to be a good night for your team.
Oh, yeah. To come out with a 3rd is a great night. We struggled at first, and we got the handle on the car later in the run, and everything was going good. And we took an opportunity to pit later in because we were worried about maybe going green flag, and it worked out. We went green.
Let me take you back to the race back here in May. You finished 9th, but you started out on the pole. You led 110 laps. What was different tonight than last May when we were here?
Testing. We haven't been testing very much and practicing all that much. We've been pretty busy with our other race schedule, and you can show it shows that it hurts. Next week things are going to change. We're getting into the race schedule where we favor and we like, and practice and testing will be back.
Yeah, and you got to make up some points on Terrell and Marinac out there in front. You feel confident that you can do that before we get to Homestead?
And some of the races coming up, Talladega, that's like rolling the dice at Las Vegas. You never know how that's going to work out. The other tracks, I'm confident, and the way the next couple weeks are going with testing, we'll be there.
Coming from a championship driver tonight, picking up a 3rd place trophy. CJ, who makes it happen for you, bud?
First off, I got to thank all my teammates after this racing. Without them, I wouldn't even be here running for the championship. I'm going to thank Real Sim Racing, Inside Sim TV for putting sponsoring the show here. Got to thank ATV. Of course, Hippie's Paint Shop for painting my beautiful cars. Got to go check them out, hippiespaintshop.com.
hippiespaintshop.com. And Harrison, I'm getting a late note here from the trailers downstairs. There may be some penalties handed out before the night is over for entering the track too soon out of the pits on the backstretch. So you called it right there when we saw Terrell enter the track. What we think might have been a little bit too soon, so he may fall victim to a penalty here tonight.
Yeah, that was one of those things where I wasn't sure if I was maybe not remembering the rules correctly, or sometimes they'll change division to division, or excuse me, series to series might be a little bit different, but Terrell came onto the track, onto the banking in the middle of 1 and 2, and it's a rough mistake to make, especially when he looks back at the replay and realizes, oh man, he'll think to himself, I could have beat him just exiting on the backstretch, he probably would have had the lead regardless with that gas and go. So that's a tough break for Bobby Terrell. I'll have to see where that puts him in the points. I believe that's going to drop him. He'll lose a lap out of it and probably lose not enough to put him out of the race. He's going to be there and he's going to be able to make it back up, but he's going to lose something like 10 points out of it without looking, just taking a guess.
All right, and I'll tell you what, we'll be talking about that on the Rewind BS and Backtalk radio show when we go through the races here with Real Sim Racing. Of course, next one up, it'll be next Monday night, right back here at Dover again with the Full Throttle Cup Series. But before that, Saturday night, Integrity Racing at 9:30 here on Channel 2. And then, of course, on Sunday night, Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money, win a trip to the bank, Cowboy, at 8 o'clock here on ETV Live on Channel 2. So I'll tell you, what a race here tonight. It's a lot of fun to come up here in the booth. Joe Cortez on vacation somewhere gallivanting around Canada somewhere. I hope he didn't get lost. That's a big place up there. But I'll tell you what, certainly a fun opportunity to share with these guys as always. And no better racing than you find here at Real Sim Racing for sure. And I've been watching this for the last couple of years. So I tell you, if you're out there looking for a place to run, you got to come out here and talk to John Abbott. Tell him the Cowboy sent you over here. So with that, we're going to get on out of here from Dover Speedway. I want to thank Harrison for being in the booth with me here tonight. And, of course, Laura Lawson downstairs working the buttons for you, doing an awesome job. So with that, we'll catch you next time on ETV Live.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Travis, start your engines!
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.